Hey guys, welcome to 180 Drums. We have Josh Manuel in the house, and in today's lesson, we're walking through one of his own songs. Dude, what are you teaching us today, man?
Cool. It's basically just practical application of the exercise we worked on.
Right.
Between, left note or left hand, two notes, right foot, trading back and forth. And this is basically just that exercise applied to a song in a groove. And also some of the linear stuff we've talked about as well.
Totally, man.
But yeah, basically it's just like a linear groove. It's a verse. Comes straight out of like this intro riff and goes straight into this basically like drum groove that kind of carries the verse.
Awesome. And this is a song called Langdon?
Langdon House, yeah.
Langdon House.
Yes.
Boom. Shake the room, baby.
Cool.
Okay. Dude, so when you're walking us through this too, the first thing I noticed, man, is like you're using, and we cover this in the lesson where we're talking a lot about how often you're using cymbals.
Yeah.
And this is a song where you're using it right away. You're kind of like, crashing on the uhs, back to the downbeats of stuff. Now, just really quickly, you're using all Zildjian cymbals. Give us a rundown as to how you pair sounds because, like, it matters the way these cymbals sound in context with one another.
Definitely.
Right? So, how did you arrive at Dark Crash? Just because I see you're using, is this a 19 and a 20 or 18?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Dark Crash. Then I actually arrived there this tour when all my A customs were just shattering because I was playing too hard live.
Oh,
but
when we say playing too hard, this guy, you must have been like just insanely hitting hard.
Yeah, but they weren't lasting, so I needed something. I love Dark cymbals.
Yeah.
But I've always loved A customs like for studio stuff. But Dark, the Dark K Crash is perfect, and so that's what I've been using. And Sweet Ride, dude, you can't go wrong with Sweet Ride.
No kidding,
it's like one
man.
of the best cymbals ever made.
You're a Travis Barker fan, man.
I am. I really am. Yeah, growing up for sure.
Well, because something that always stood out about Blink too, and without getting too carried away, because we could sit here and talk about cymbals all day for sure. But one thing that I definitely observed early on with Blink was that he had a nice ping on the ride.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
But then he also was crashing it, and he has a nice bell too. You're like, what's going on, right?
Sweet Ride.
Sweet Ride.
Yeah,
Boom.
that's why this the cymbal's so crazy to me is because you can do anything with it.
Have you tried the 23?
I have, and it's awesome.
Cool,
but
man.
It might be. I think it's a little too washy for some of the stuff we do with
Sure,
issues.
where you need more quick.
Exactly. Yeah, for like more accent stuff.
Well, to be honest, so many guys are going with really big cymbals these days.
True.
It's actually interesting to see even in the metal world more guys using bigger cymbals because that's really cool, man. And what is it about these specific Dark Crashes that you love?
Honestly, just they cut really well. Like,
cool.
I know front of house they cut super well. And A customs do as well. They're just obviously a little brighter.
Yeah.
But these are cool, and I do a lot of cymbal choke stuff.
Cool.
Same with like accent stuff we've been talking about, but
100%.
just grabbing and so I need something that's on these cymbals. I need something that's dark enough and isn't gonna shatter, but also is quick enough to have that like effect sound.
Cool. I got you.
Yeah.
And then what are you using for your stack over there too?
Dude, this is it's like a 14-inch. Oriental China.
Okay.
With a 10-inch effect splash on top, upside down.
Cool.
So it has this like
a lot of sustain there, man.
A lot of sustain. But obviously, I'm never just like riding the stack or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely an effect cymbal. It's really cool. It's it's a stacker, so it's basically like a hip hop stacker meets metal.
Yes.
With a China.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Cool, man. And then you're using light hats over there.
Dude, these hi-hats, honestly, these hi-hats are like the smoothest because they're just dark enough.
Yeah.
But they cut well enough and they feel like
light hats are some of my favorite, dude. Some of the best sellers for Zildjian too, man.
Yeah,
like they're just
incredible.
the most popular, big time, dude.
Oh yeah.
And then 18-inch Oriental.
Yes, sir.
That is the China cymbal, man.
Exactly. You can't go wrong with it. So.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So I ask all that because this song right off the top, you're using. Like, you're just running through your catalog of cymbals right away, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And something that I think is really important is when drummers are thinking about picking cymbals, I think even more than picking a brand, right? I think it's about sitting with cymbals and actually comparing them to one another. So you guys are like, if you're going to be using them in tandem, they have to sound like they work together.
Exactly. Especially if you're hitting like all four of them within the same bar,
Totally.
They need to be cohesive.
Yeah, big time. So walk us.
Definitely are.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you're even switching between, you got A's for hats, and you got an A for the ride, right? And then you're, A custom, A, and then you're just kind of, they still all mesh really well, right? So why don't you play us this intro again?
Cool.
Or this is in the middle of the song.
This is like the intro lick or the intro riff that goes into the verse groove that I'm going to teach.
Yes, perfect. All right, show us again, man. See, now you guys get what we're saying. Now that he plays that, you hear him hitting them all, and they all mesh really well together. So that's killer. Okay, do you want to help us break this down now, man?
Sure.
All right, let's walk through it, dude.
Cool.
So why don't you play it again? Bring it down half speed, and then we'll start to discuss all the parts.
Sweet. Well, that's the intro riff. So then the part I'm going to teach is coming after that. So it goes and then goes into this hi-hat groove with some odd accents where I use more cymbals.
Love it,
but
dude.
yeah, so here. I'll
okay, cool. Yeah.
So.
You officially hit every cymbal at the end of that. You hit the hi-hats at the very end, the X-hats.
Yep.
And I was like, there it is. Now we have a reason to justify the fact we just talked about every cymbal.
Yep.
Amazing, man. Okay, so how do you want to help us break this down, man?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a whole verse, so
yeah.
we can't pick apart each piece. But I think what's like the biggest thing to take away from this is it's literally just based around that entire exercise of trading doubles from your left hand and your right foot.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So show us that idea right there a little bit slower.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then from there, I mean, do you want to walk us through, maybe just play it through one more time?
Sure.
A little bit slower,
yeah,
and then we'll start to... So that last fill that you used to transition over the X-hats there,
yep.
Can you walk us through that fill?
Sure.
Because this is kind of the beginning of like the linear stuff that we've been talking about as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a little different than what I do on the record. Same vibe, but just I've been playing the song for 2 years. So we gotta have some fun with it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think actually that's of this tour. It's one of those things I could like have to play the whole phrase. But yeah.
Cool, man.
But yeah, it's simple linear. Like it once you slow it down, it's simple linear stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. For
and
sure.
I try to catch the hi-hat and close it as I'm transitioning to the aux hats.
Cool.
Because the part after this is kind of just this like double kick with sloshy hats, where like it's just me and bass. Bam, bam, bam.
Sick. Do you want to show us that part real quick?
Yeah. So. The chorus.
Sick, man. Dude, thanks so much for walking us through this. You guys have got that on paper. Make sure you spend the time to, again, like, pull from these ideas, because in every fill, there's little ideas that if you isolate and practice that section, which we've highlighted for you guys, that's what's going to help you compose this stuff yourself and move it around the drum. So, like, you know, one idea that gets mixed into this stuff a lot is even just being able to alternate, like, between right-left kick and left-right kick and being able to move that around. Is that something that you're, like, if I was to put you on the spot and say, demonstrate a little bit of that, like,
what is it again? Exactly.
Right left kick and left right kick.
So like,
yeah. So like, this is like kind of like the begin. I guess some gospel chop stuff that would be simple for people to grasp.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, so like,
guys, see that? Sometimes
I had to process it.
Sometimes you have to prod a little bit. I knew that he knew.
Yeah, no, cool. That's some very basic linear, and that's exactly what a lot of this is.
Well, that was cool because you started that one on the kick.
Yeah.
The phrasing, but do that. Show us that again. Slow that down again. Play it again. Cool, man.
And you can even instead of
that's going back to your original idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's basically exactly what you're talking about. You're taking concepts and you're taking simple trading doubles back and forth, and then you're getting creative with it and you're applying it. And I think that's more important than anything. You don't want to be a dude who can just play any rudiment ever, but you can't apply it to the kit.
Yeah, big time.
And I think sometimes like the hardest thing for people is, and it's hard for me as well, like is taking something that I'm working on, like I don't know, putting 5 into 4, doing some 5-stroke thing, and like not just going. Like figuring out a way to make it cool and make it not just some rudiment. You know what I mean? Like applying it to the kit. Exactly.
Big time, man.
So that's that's half the challenge, dude. Is just like getting creative with all these concepts.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's your job. I mean, as a player, like that's all I've done is just watch dudes that I love playing. Like players, awesome drummers, and just be like, okay, I'm gonna take that. And obviously not like ripping what they're doing, but just the concept.
Well, I think what's cool is like our goal at 180, what I think separates 180 drums from everything else is like we talked about this, is that we actually force guys to really slow stuff down.
Yeah.
Because for you, like what feels slow to you is still blazing fast to other people, right?
Exactly.
So our goal is to identify patterns you're using as a drummer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help bring it down to speed, make sure you guys got the notation, and then at the end of the day, I don't want to show you every option because I want you guys to be creative. I want you guys to come up with stuff and like push yourself and figure out where your own limitations are and how creative you can get with it. Otherwise, we'd be making a bunch of robots that all sounded like just 180 drums, dude.
Yeah, everybody would be Matt Gartzka.
Yeah,
because he's insane.
In a perfect world, right? In a perfect world, yeah.
But yeah, 100%, dude. That's it. Like, I mean, that's the fun of like, half the fun of playing drums is just getting creative and taking concepts that you learn out of a book and then applying it to your kit.
Yeah.
Like that's at least for me, like that's. I mean, it's definitely a challenge at times, but like. Once you do, it's like, okay, so sick. And like we talked about combos and fills and like everything just leads into each other,
Yeah.
So.
Dude, play us out on this one, man.
Cool. Let's see.